Hello, ladies and gentlemen. MarauderEX here with kind of coverage-ish of E3. Another E3 is upon us, E3 2019. And while I haven't been following this E3 as closely as E3s in the past, I have still been following it, just, morbid curiosity. This one, I already kind of went in with really low expectations, hearing that, Sony was not going to be there, and there was definitely a smaller presence this year. And Nintendo was doing its own Direct thing again, which, I'm kind of used to the Nintendo side of things. Like, their Directs are still really good. They still, seem to be packed full of information. It doesn't matter that they have, a performance space there, and really all it does is save them a ton of money in the long run for not having to rent out one of the giant halls at E3. So, yeah, I've got a list of things that I'm just like, yeah, let's talk about some of these things. First off, we've got some big news. Phantasy Star Online 2 is actually going to be a thing. Why? Why is that going to be a thing? No one cares at this point. Anyone who has been playing it has been playing it. Anyone who's wanted to play it has either just moved on and kind of given up on MMOs, or moved on to another MMO, or they've been playing it because there's an English patch available for it. And there's been a lot of, we don't really care if you're in North America playing it, as long as you don't make a big stink about it and break any of the rules. So, it's, that is late. But then, also the announcement of the Panzer Dragoon remake, and surprised on that one. When I heard the music on that, I'm like, no. Okay. So far it's just Panzer Dragoon 1. I've heard rumors that there's already an announcement for Panzer Dragoon Zwei. And then I've also heard rumors that the source code for Saga has been recovered, at least partially. So who the hell knows? With this one, though, I'm banking that this is not actually the source code from the Saturn. This is the source code from the PC release, or even, I think there was a PS2 release of this one. This is another release that is, they've taken the source code and they are modding the source code for that, rather than using the Saturn source code. Interesting news, however, for the Grandia collection, for Grandia 1, they are using the assets from the PS1 version, but they are comparing it to the Saturn version to make the definitive version. So they are using information from both to make this for the Grandia remaster. And I'm super excited about that, because I've never played the Saturn version. I've heard it is a slightly better version, but I couldn't tell you why or what makes that better, but I'm really excited to see that both versions are being pulled to make a definitive version. It's something you don't really see with a lot of these remakes and remasters. Typically, if it was a multi-platform release from way back in the day, they pick one and go with that. So that's really exciting for me, to see that, there is some Saturn love this E3. Another thing that kind of came out of left field is a TurboGrafx Mini? The hell is going on? What year is it? I was one of the few people who actually knew what the hell a TurboGrafx was. Like, my brother had one, didn't have one for long, and, I got a Genesis shortly after, so we kind of phased out of that. But everyone's like, oh, what the hell is a TurboGrafx? It is an interesting console, and the fact that they are bringing it back to a degree is just mind-boggling. No announcement on what all games are going to be on it. They've announced a couple of games, but no full list yet. And I'm wondering if it's going to be just like the TurboGrafx, or if it's going to have some of the CD add-on games as well. Curious about that, because there was the CD add-on for it. It was very much like the Sega Genesis with the Sega CD attachment, where it had some CD-based games, and that was awesome. I've heard rumblings that there's going to be a 7-player multi-tap for it. I don't remember the original having that many, but I do remember if you wanted to have multiplayer, you had to have a port coming out of the back. Such a pain in the ass. Hopefully they don't make that as much of a pain. Square came out of the gate swinging with Final Fantasy everything. We've got a ton more information on the 7 remake, the fact that the first episode part of this game is going to be through Midgar. It's going to be 2 Blu-rays. That is a ridiculous amount of content. They have no idea how long it's going to take to finish the game. There's jokes that these poor developers are going to be working on this game until they are dead, because it's going to take that long. I really hope that's not the case, for their sakes. But, you know, the 7 remake's looking interesting. Like, I didn't have super high hopes for it. I'm like, oh, well, you're taking 7, you're turning it into an ARPG. It's probably just going to be like Final Fantasy 14, you know, 15, whichever the one is with Noctis. It's got to be 15, right? Because 14 was the other MMO. After a while, I just start getting confused on the numbering scheme of which is which. Much how a lot of people that I know are really confused between 11 and 12, because they came out at the same time. It was the first MMO. Anyway, neither here nor there. I kind of figured it was just going to be that with a Final Fantasy VII skin, but it's looking like it's going to be a lot more than that. So, actually kind of excited about that. Still cautiously optimistic, but a little more hype. More information on Crystal Chronicles, which I'm kind of excited about as well. Final Fantasy VIII Remastered, not my favorite in the series, in fact one of my least favorite Final Fantasy games, but I'm glad to see that it is getting the remaster treatment, because, you know, 7 got it, 9 got it. I was really kind of expecting them to go 7, 8, 9, but no. And when they didn't do 8, I was a little like, what the hell is going on? Glad to see that's a thing. More information on Final Fantasy 14. So 14, okay. 14, if I had just consulted my list, 14 is the MMO, because it's got the Shadowbringers. Never got into 14 because I spent all of my life playing 11. So I'm one of those people that's like, I only have enough time and energy in my life to play one MMO at a time. So I haven't got into 14. But the expansion looks good. We've got some information on Romancing Saga 3, Dragon Quest Builders 2, Last Remnant, and then what came out of left field for me was the announcement that the Secret Mana Collection was coming out in the US, considering that was originally announced and released in Japan years ago, and the fact that we just expected to never actually see it because Seiken Densetsu 3 never had an official English translation, got one. And apparently it is not just the fan translation. Apparently, looking over some discussion on Twitter, that the game is ridiculous in size because it is a ROM hack of their own ROM. So it looks like they went in and just took the ROM and just like hacked the hell out of it. I was following a thread that BU, the creator of Beast Nest / Heigen emulator, was breaking down and just kind of dumbfounded at what seems to be the technical fuckery that has gone into making that thing. I'm just curious to see if they have fixed some of the, you know, formula issues, because I know I did a Let's Play of Seiken Densetsu 3, and like the Dex modifier does not actually affect crits. Crits are like, it was just there were a lot of broken formulas because they couldn't quite get them to work, so they just kind of left them turned off. And, you know, bumping, you know, the dex stat seemed to be worthless, and so I'm wondering if things like that got fixed. Curious. I was also kind of hoping for a full screen mode for the Switch and for, you know, 16:9 TV, but it seems that's not the case from what I've seen, unless the US version gets that, whereas the Japanese release didn't. It does look like there's going to be border art on the sides. That kind of frustrates the hell out of me because I hate how that looks on, you know, TV. I don't think it'd be too bad for a handheld mode, but it's and that frustrates me because, you know, every other collection of the sort says, yeah, we don't care about aspect ratio, we can stretch the hell out of it. Like the Genesis collection that I've been with, like that, I would like a full screen mode. So we'll see if that's a thing. Probably not, though. A little disappointed in that. But, and then the fact that there's Trials of Mana, which is the official English title for Seiken Densetsu 3, the fact that they are redoing that game from the ground up. It's not the Secret of Mana remake that we got on PS4 and Steam, you know, a couple years ago. This is a brand new game that looks ridiculous for what it, and I'm actually really excited about that. So I was just like, I'm buying both of these as soon as they are available. I went ahead and pre-ordered the collection from Square Enix because at the time it seemed like they were the only ones offering the physical edition, because the digital edition is already available. You can already download the digital edition of that, and I'm like, really hoping, but the fact that they're saying it's digital, I will wait for a physical release on that. I'm taking all of my self-control to not get that, because I would like to have it on my shelf, because I am a weirdo. Other than that, there wasn't really much else that kind of caught my attention. Like, looking over, we had Doom Eternal, we had more Fallout 76, we had Cyberpunk 2077, which is, the big thing from that was Keanu Reeves. Just, Keanu Reeves has won the internet this year. Just give him the internet award. He's won it. Just, we're done. After that, we had, the Contra Anniversary Collection. That was actually something I was kind of surprised about, simply because they packed a ton of crap into that. So many Contra games on that, which is, like, the direct opposition of what they did with the Castlevania collection, where, like, we're gonna pick, like, 4 Castlevania games and put them in the collection and charge a really, a fairly premium price for it. And then Contra is like, we're going to put every Contra game imaginable in this, and we're going to sell it to you for dirt cheap. Like, Konami, the hell are you doing? Like, are you drunk? Like, I'm okay with the Contra, like, I'm not even a huge Contra fan. I might even pick that up, because just the sheer number of games and the price point for it was actually pretty decent. And that's really it. Like, I didn't follow the Microsoft, the Microsoft one. Oh crap! We haven't even really touched on Nintendo yet, have we? And Breath of the Wild game. They showed a little bit of that. I'm not holding my breath on that. I get it, because they've announced, Metroid Prime 4, and we still have only seen the title screen, basically, of that. So, like, that's gonna be down the road. I'm not holding my breath on that. Luigi's Mansion 3, I'm not a huge Luigi's Mansion person, but sure. Looks cute. Animal Crossing apparently caused a lot of people to freak out, and Nintendo stock, like, plummeted after this. I don't see why. It looked like an Animal Crossing game to me. It looked cute. It looked like, I don't play Animal Crossing games because I haven't played Stardew Valley in months, and, like, if there was a reminder of, you haven't been here in 400 days, it would just make me feel terrible. And so therefore, the Animal Crossing people, I don't get into their world, because they're gonna make me feel bad. Link's Awakening just looks so goddamn adorable. And the Link amiibo, I don't have any desire to buy any more amiibo. I got all the amiibo that I've ever wanted to get, and then some. And, like, I just want the adorable little bastard to sit on my, yeah. Mario Maker 2, I already knew that it was going to be awesome. Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, the more I've seen of that, the more I'm actually kind of getting excited for it. Like, I didn't have high hopes for it, because the first 2 games were, kind of gritty, a little dark. I liked them. I really did. And this one just seems, this is super bright. This is super, like, I think it's going to have a really crappy tone. And no, the more I see of it, it's okay, yeah. I might actually pick that up, because I did enjoy the first 2 games, and this looks like it's got solid gameplay from the first 2. Just a much more expanded roster and a much broader story. So sure, why the hell not? Cadence of Hyrule, I'd never really got into Crypt of the Necrodancer, but it's interesting. Fire Emblem Three Houses, more of that. I've already got that pre-ordered. I had that pre-ordered when they announced it. So, Dragon Quest 11S. I've wanted Dragon Quest 11 for a long time now, and I've been waiting on the Switch version. So give me the Switch version. Just give it to me. I want it. Dragon Quest Builders 2. No More Heroes 3 was actually kind of a surprise because, you know, they had the other Travis touchdown game that came out and didn't seem to get a ton of fanfare to it. And so this comes, I was like, oh, well, okay. And yeah, that's really it. It's been an interesting E3. There, you know, Microsoft has, you know, Halo and Gears, and Sony, I have no idea what Sony's actually doing because they don't have a conference at all at E3. They're just doing their own thing later. But you know, the rumors of the PS5 and Xbox Scarlet, you know, next gen consoles already around the corner. So like they're going to be kind of in their own world, really. And then Microsoft has just been doing a lot of, you know, cross-play between everything at this point. It used to be like everything on Xbox was also available for games for Windows, and now it's like anything that we have cross-play with, you know, the Nintendo if it's available. So it's like Microsoft's just like, you know what, screw having a closed ecosystem. We're just going to open that up. So, and yeah, that's really it from what I can see. Like, yeah, fun times. So it's been an E3. I, you know, didn't have super high hopes for it, but there's enough that has been announced to be like, yeah, my wallet's gonna hurt a little bit. I'm excited to you know, pick up a lot of these titles. So we'll see how it goes. And we'll see how many of them actually come out now, because that was one of the things I noticed with the Nintendo Direct. There's a fair few of these games that are listed 2020, so it's going to be a little while. I really like seeing what's going to be out soon, and that's why I was really caught off guard with the Seiken Densetsu Secret Mana collection. It's like, it's out today. I'm like, sure, okay. So yeah, let me know what your thoughts on E3 were. Was it, you know, super hype train choo-choo, or was it just kind of a letdown, or did you go in with really low expectations and get kind of blown away? Did you go in with really high expectations, get let down? What were your thoughts? Because like this is an interesting E3 from a ton of different standpoints, and I kind of want to know what everyone's thoughts are, because I'm, you know, with the way E3's going, getting people's, you know, take on it, kind of curious to see how next year's E3 will shape up based off of, you know, the buzz from this one, because they're always looking to change to keep, you know, things fresh, not stale. So yeah, let me know your thoughts, and I'm looking forward to all these releases. So yeah, go then. Later, everyone.